Hello everyone and welcome to our podcast.
My name is Wendy.
And I'm Sanjana and you're listening to Watchamacallit. Basically, we decided to do this podcast a while ago, a while being like probably last week.
About a week ago.
Yeah, literally. What we're trying to gain out of this podcast is to get a better sense of understanding of what's happening at the moment in today's society. Because both of us have a very unique outlook in life. And I think we both can have a very different perspective of how, we address these issues, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think that if we create thought-provoking discussion and allow our audience, you guys, to get a different look at something rather than just from your own perspective, then we've done a good job.
100%. And I think we need a lot more of those thought-provoking opinions in this world at the moment. So,
especially in today's society and in on social media, the media is very, very polarized, so you only get one side of the story and you don't really hear from everybody else's perspective. It's very biased.
I completely agree. I met Wendy in 2012, a long time ago.
It was a lifetime ago.
It actually was. It feels like that, honestly. But I think we recently, about 2 years ago, got pretty close. And honestly, I'm glad that we did, because I don't know, initially when I met you, I thought you were sort of like a little bit uptight, and you sort of were just like, you're sort of like this really put together girl, and you had this like really confident vibe, which I totally like dig, but I was just like, I don't know if I like this girl, it might be a little bit too much, because I'm too much sometimes, and sometimes when you have like similar personalities, you kind of clash. I think I was sort of like scared of that. But then again, I think we both were very like no new friends.
Yeah, we were totally like that at the time. Yeah.
But it's
so funny. The first memory, okay, just to insert this, the first memory I have of Sanjana is literally...
What?
I don't even want to say it now. I shouldn't say this on our podcast.
Wait, what is it?
Oh, the only thing, the first thing I remember from you is actually literally the incident when you were in the red car, we were going back home, you opened the door and you vomited. That's the best thing I had
cheeky bombs.
Cheeky bombs.
Oh my God.
Yak. It was a tack yak.
Oh, I love that.
Should I be saying this? Oh my God.
You know what? This podcast, at least you'll get a better understanding of who we are. You know what I mean?
That's so true.
It's uncut, all right?
Okay.
But cheeky bombs, you got to do it. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Okay, so, you know what's really interesting, Wendy? I actually digged into the 16 personalities thing that you mentioned. And I thought it'd be very interesting to sort of just dig into it a little bit. So apparently, I am an ENTJA. In quotation marks, apparently that's a commander. First of all, I don't know who the hell I think I am to be a commander, because I ain't no commander. Yeah, literally, that ain't me. So I wrote down a few strengths and weaknesses, because I thought it was quite interesting. Apparently my strengths are that I'm efficient, energetic, strong-willed.
You're pretty strong-willed, yeah. Okay, so whenever Sanjana's in a situation where we need some direction, so she'll be the first one to say, right, guys, okay, this is the plan. This is what we do, A, B, C, D. And we're like, okay, you got it.
Damn.
We're going to follow you, girl.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been delegating all these stuff. I don't even know. And then I think my weaknesses is I'm very stubborn, impatient, and poor handling of emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, she got tea.
I mean, in emotional situations, I think that you, so it becomes very logical based, whereas most people, I think, would be more emotional. I'm definitely that way. So when Sanjana's in an emotional situation, she'll say, okay, I'm feeling sad. Okay, what do I do? All right, well, first of all, I should do this, this, and this. And it's all very logic and fact-based rather than, I'm so sad, I'm just going to sit here and cry.
I ain't got no tear ducts, okay?
And, I really admire that, because I think there's both sides of the coin here, obviously.
Yeah, honestly, it's a good and a bad thing. And I think one of the worst things about not being able to handle my emotions is that I like to push things away, not under the rug. I mean, I know that's a statement that people use. I take it, I literally put it in a ball and I throw it as far as I can, and then I just throw myself into work and go, yeah, I'll deal with it when it comes back.
Yeah.
It's like a boomerang, and that's something I'm trying to learn not to do, because Wendy did help me a lot with my dealing with my emotions, because I wasn't really that great before, and I'm not saying I'm great now, but it's interesting that, doing this quiz, and I guess from answering a few questions, you find out a lot more about yourself than you actually think.
Yeah.
What did you actually get?
Okay, so my personality type on Myers-Briggs is INFJ/T. So I am the advocate personality, basically. So that's introverted, but I'm the most extroverted introvert.
Ooh.
Intuitive, so I'm share that with Sanjana. And then I've got feeling and judging. And the T stands for turbulent, so I'm a bit more like...
Oh, that's what it means.
And yours is assertive.
Oh, I am. I'm 79% assertive.
Oh, wow. I think I'm quite 50-50 turbulent assertive, but a little bit more turbulent in the way that I think.
Okay.
So basically what that means is like it's just a bit harder for me to be solid in my decisions because I'm always questioning, is this the right thing? Or is this the right way to do it? Because I want to consider everything holistically first. So it makes it a bit harder for me to stick to one decision over another. And then...
Do you reckon that's annoying though? Like when you make especially decision-based decisions, when you like when you're sort of like, I want to eat those fries, but you're like, do I really want to eat those fries?
Oh man,
like...
this is a daily issue for me. It's
like, I want to be slim thick.
Yeah, like how do I get that ability but not get fat? I don't know.
Go.
And then so yeah, I think that my personality type's very emotional, very empathetic. I've been called an empath, so it's actually to the point where, like, I'll feel other people's emotions. Like, if someone walks into the room and they're feeling sad or stressed, even if they don't show it, I can feel it. And I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword for me, because...
I feel like that's exhausting.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming sometimes.
Do you feel like you have a choice, or is it just sort of, like, brought upon you... Because you are quite sensitive to other people's feelings and I guess quote unquote like vibe, right? Like if someone's feeling really anxious, like you'll feel the same type of way.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Do you feel like you have a control over that, or it just happens?
I think honestly it actually depends on like my state of mind at the time. Like if I'm feeling good, positive and strong, then it doesn't really affect me as much, but I can still feel it, but I have more of a mental barrier to push it away. But if I'm feeling really like weak or down or something, then it's much more strong. And that's in any emotion. If you're feeling really positive, it will come and affect me too in that way.
Oh, what would you say your strengths are?
So obviously one of my strengths is that I'm very empathetic, so I'm able to see things, a situation from many different sides. But also part of that is that I don't take very strong opinions for a lot of things, because I'm like, I can see, one side, then I can also see another side, the opposite side of the coin, and see that, okay, both people have a very reasonable point and they're reasoning for taking that point. Okay, I understand. So I think that's a good strength to have, because you're able to look at things more holistically. And then I guess the other thing is that I'm intuitive. I think we both share that actually. You're reading what someone's
putting out
energy says about them. I don't know if you guys are into this stuff, but I think that you can definitely tell the type of person someone is just based on, very, very subconscious, very little things.
I agree.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it's there. That's intuition, I think. Your gut feeling about something.
Correct, gut feeling.
Okay, so that is pretty much sums it up. I think my weaknesses are...
Ooh, T!
So I am an absolute perfectionist. I am working on this. These are things that I'm not proud of, actually. So it just means I have to get the perfect thing. Like I have to, it needs to be exactly how I want it to be. So if I'm making a decision for food, for example, I'm like, it has to be the thing that I really want right now. And it makes me indecisive. So that's really problematic for me. And it also makes it hard because I'm like, I want to, even in my decision making, I'm like, I need to have the absolute correct opinion. I need to get the perfect recording equipment for our podcast. It needs to be perfect. And so I think that it just causes me to be indecisive as fuck. Like,
no, what's really funny is that we spoke about getting this standalone, a USB mic or something, right? Because obviously there's white noise when you record on your phone or any other device that's not made for podcasts or recording purposes. And I sent it to Wendy and she was just like, No, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like we just need to see how things go, and then we'll see, is it even the right one? Like, what should we do? And I was like, you know what, girl, it's fine. Like, it's not that deep. We'll just record on our phone. But I see that. I definitely see the whole perfection thing. Yeah.
It's a problem.
Like,
it's a problem. But you know what? This is me.
But I love it. I love that, like, you show and care about, you know, what we're doing. Let that be about this podcast or anything in life. Like, you have, yes, there's being a perfectionist can be seen as a negative thing, but there's also positive aspects to it. You know, when you want something, you kind of just go for it, and you don't stop until you have exactly what you want. And a lot of people actually give that up because they don't have that consistency.
But you know what? It's actually really interesting, because I think that the difference in our personalities is very complementary to each other. So we always have things that...
That's very true.
You know, one person is lacking and the other person gives, like, part of their own personality and gives them another perspective of something.
Yeah, so hopefully after listening to us, you get a little bit of insight about Wendy and I. And sure to say, we've got a few more other podcast episodes coming out soon.
Yeah, some really exciting content for you guys. We have some really good topics that we've wanted to discuss for a while. So stay tuned, and thanks for listening to
Watchamacallit. Bye, guys.
Bye.